Imagine an innovative product from a famous company that promises to revolutionize the market, but actually brings a deadly curse with it. This is the story of a technological launch that turned into a real nightmare. Are you ready to hear about the cursed product? Press play and join us. TechCorp, one of the largest technology companies in the world, announced the launch of a revolutionary new device called Life-Enhance. The product promised to improve users' quality of life in unprecedented ways, using cutting-edge technology to offer incredible benefits, from health monitoring to personal assistance. Expectations were high, and millions of units were sold in pre-order. Mary, a young marketing professional, had always been enthusiastic about new technologies and wasted no time in acquiring the Life-Enhance. As one of the first to receive the product, she was excited to explore all the functionalities it offered. However, what Mary did not know was that the Life-Enhance hid a dark secret that would turn her life into a nightmare. In the first days of use, Mary was impressed with the device. It monitored her health, helped organize tasks, and even suggested wellness activities. However, strange problems soon began to arise. The device, which seemed to be always active, started showing disturbing notifications and health alerts that made no sense. At night, Mary began to hear whispers coming from the device. Initially, she thought it was just ambient noise, but the whispers became clearer and more distinct, mentioning her name and whispering sinister messages. Scared, Mary tried to turn off the device, but it seemed to have a will of its own, turning itself back on. Mary noticed that other people around her, who had also acquired the Life-Enhance, were experiencing similar issues. Friends and coworkers reported inexplicable health problems, strange accidents, and even mysterious deaths. The reports included visions of shadowy figures and sensations of being constantly watched. Desperate, Mary began to investigate the origins of the device. She discovered that the Life-Enhance had been rapidly developed, with many aspects of its technology kept secret by TechCorp. There were rumors that the company had acquired technology from an obscure source, and that the device was somehow cursed. Mary began to feel the effects of the curse. Her health deteriorated rapidly, with inexplicable pains and constant fatigue. She also started seeing shadowy figures in her house, reflected on her device screens. The messages from Life-Enhance became more threatening, with warnings of imminent death. Determined to find a solution, Mary contacted an occult specialist, Dr. Henry. He analyzed the device and revealed that the technology used in the Life-Enhance was linked to an ancient ritual of spirit invocation. TechCorp, in its quest for innovation, had inadvertently created a portal for malevolent entities. Dr. Henry explained that the only way to break the curse was to perform a purification ritual, but he warned that it would be extremely dangerous. The entities linked to the Life-Enhance were powerful and would not easily give up their prey. He and Mary prepared for the ritual, aware of the risks involved. On the night of the ritual, Mary and Dr. Henry set up a protection circle with sacred symbols and began reciting prayers. The atmosphere became tense, and the shadowy figures began to manifest, trying to interrupt the ritual. The room seemed to vibrate with the presence of the entities, which whispered threats and tried to break the protective barrier. Mary felt excruciating pain as the entities tried to possess her. Dr. Henry intensified the prayers, using incense and holy water to strengthen the protective circle. The shadowy figures became more aggressive, striking the invisible barriers separating them from Mary and Dr. Henry. At the peak of the ritual, one of the shadowy figures managed to break the barrier and advance towards Mary. Dr. Henry, in a desperate act, used an ancient amulet to repel the entity, which let out a horrible scream before disappearing. The ritual continued, with Mary struggling to maintain her sanity as the entities were gradually banished. At the most critical moment of the ritual, the most powerful shadowy figure appeared, manifesting with an overwhelming presence. Mary felt as if her body was being torn from the inside, and the visions of death intensified. Dr. Henry, with his last strength, recited the final prayer, throwing the amulet at the entity. With a deafening scream, the entity was banished, and the room fell into a deadly silence. Mary collapsed on the floor, exhausted and injured. Dr. Henry, equally exhausted, helped her up. The ritual had worked, but both knew that the battle against the forces of evil was never truly over. After the ritual, Mary tried to warn the public about the dangers of the Life-Enhance. The media covered the story, and the product was quickly pulled from the market. TechCorp faced investigations and lawsuits, but many believed the full truth would never be revealed. Other victims began to share their stories, describing similar experiences of terror and despair. TechCorp claimed ignorance about the supernatural aspects of the device, but suspicions remained. Many believed the company knew more than it admitted and that greater forces were at play. Mary tried to resume her life, but the scars from the cursed product remained. She became a vocal advocate against the irresponsible use of technology and constantly warned about the dangers of seeking quick solutions without considering the consequences. Although she survived, she knew many other lives had been destroyed. Every day was a struggle for Mary, but she found strength in the hope that her story could save others. In every lecture, in every interview, she shared her experience, trying to prevent anyone else from falling into the same deadly trap. She knew the real challenge was not just fighting the entities, but also the greed and irresponsibility that led to the creation of the Life Enhance. Months later, Mary began to feel a familiar presence. The shadows that once pursued her seemed to be returning, and the whispers came back, weaker but still present. She realized that the purification ritual had not been completely effective, and that the entities still had a connection to her. Desperate, Mary knew she needed to find a definitive solution before the entities regained their full strength. She continued to fight, but the shadow of the cursed product would never leave her in peace. Do you want part 2 of this story? Leave your comment. If you have a horror story and want to see it published on our channel, send us your story.